Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Griff from the Hookup Tackle. I wanted to take a couple minutes with you guys today and just break down some of the stuff that I'm fishing right now. A little bit of a winter reaction bait type video. So come along with me and let's see what we got going on.
Welcome to the Hookup Tackle. The Hookup Tackle is the world's largest showcase of Megabass products, featuring baits and colors not found at any other dealer. The Hookup also offers a wide display of OSP, Evergreen, Depths, Lucky Craft, Jackal, and many more. The Hookup Tackle is owned and operated by family, is staffed by guides and verified tackle nerds who love helping anglers elevate their craft. If you're in the Phoenix area, we'd love to have you stop by our showroom and check out the wonderful world of Megabass and the Hookup for yourself. If you shop online, there are almost 10,000 SKUs of Megabass products alone, with hundreds of other companies and new products being added daily. So next time you're looking for that hard to find bait, that color your fish have never seen before, or maybe you just want to elevate your game, look at thehookuptackle.com.
All right, guys. Hey, so fishing in the wintertime can get kind of slow, and everybody's throwing baits, you know, drop shots, Ned rigs. They're really slow.
Stuff that you love, right?
Yeah, the good stuff, right? So everybody's just slowing down a lot,
Yeah.
and then soaking worms and just sitting there, you know,
Twiddling your thumbs.
twiddle thumbs, and take a nap until you get a bite, right? It's super exciting.
Super.
Yeah. Luckily for us, we don't have a real winter, right? But the water temperature is still right now around 50, 55 degrees.
Right.
And it's dropped from, I don't know, 30, 40 degrees from what we're normally fishing in.
Yep.
So you definitely think about slowing down, but what I like to do is I like to just go out there and throw different versions of the baits that I'm throwing in the spring, summer, and fall. Just doing it, changing my approach a little bit.
Okay.
All right. So hard baits are always tied onto on my kayak, right?
Yep.
I always got a jerk bait, a crank bait. I bring a glide bait. Probably
Okay.
don't ever throw it, but
It's on.
it's
tied
on
on.
there. I have this idea in my head, like, yeah, I'm gonna smash them with this, and then it just sits there for the whole day, right? Pro Tour, right? So yeah, so I just wanted to break down some of my favorites. We just did a video recently about our January baits.
Yeah, and you talked about some of the stuff that you talked about today.
Yeah.
And then you went out just the other day and smashed them on it. So,
Yeah, dude. So when we talk about these things, we're really talking about things that we're really throwing.
Yeah.
Right? Like we're not just making some of this stuff up. I'm having a good time right now, and I haven't had to pick up a drop shot or anything like that.
Hey, that's a big plus.
Yeah, so it's doing great. So I'm just gonna highlight a couple more of those baits that we talked about, and talk about how I'm fishing them, and let you guys actually see how we're fishing them.
Yep.
All right. So obviously the 110+1 is a bait that I'm using right now. I don't often throw a full-size 110. The 110 Junior is mostly the jerk bait that I throw from spring all the way through the summer and fall. Junior is, but right now I feel like you have to give them a little bit bigger of a presentation, and this is the bait that's going to allow me to do it.
Okay.
Plus, the +1 allows me to get a little bit deeper, so I'm going to be able to fish the fish that are they're going down, they're sitting low, and I'm going to be able to get their attention with the jerk bait like this. All right, so all I'm doing is I'm making the longest cast possible, and then I'm getting a couple really hard rips to get it down to depth, and then I'm just going to work my cadence on how I feel like the fish are going to eat it.
Are you starting fast or starting slow, or are you just...
I'm going to start aggressive at first. I like to fish aggressively. It's just the way I fish, so I'm going to start there. If they're not biting it, I'm just going to slow down little by little. I'm going to make a ton of casts. I feel like you can cover a ton of water, and you can work these baits and try to figure it out.
Yeah.
Just recently, I was on a trip the other day, and luckily for me, it was in crystal clear water, so I can see the fish reactions. I was looking 20 feet down to the bottom. I can see them from, 30 yards away.
Yeah.
On how they
and
were
seeing
reacting.
what they're doing with the bait.
So
and
I was able to adjust the way that I was fishing. But yeah, those initial hard rips that I'm doing on that are going to get me down to like that 10-foot mark, and then right then I can work it. So the 110, remember the 110 is going to float or suspend or sink depending on the temperature of the water.
Yeah.
So you really have to pay attention to what it's doing. But for us, 55 degrees is a floating temperature.
Yeah.
As it floats up, let me pull this out for you. As it floats up, it's still gonna do a little tiny bit of a shimmy, but it's gonna go like tail up, and then it's gonna float. And then you can give it the smallest twitches ever, and it's gonna dive down. Just give a little bit of a shake, and then depending on how hard you twitch it, always on slack line. That line has to be slack. You're popping the slack more than the bait.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but that's what I feel is the best jerkbait option for me. And then obviously you guys understand that I'm using one of two colors, and they're almost identical. It's gonna be the GP Stain Reaction Orange Belly or the GP Stain Reaction.
Why do you think that color is so killer in the winter?
So Arizona bass love white.
That is true.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's the whitest one that they make.
Yep.
And then the orange belly just has that little bit of color on the bottom. So if they're looking down there and they need a little something to attract them to it, boom. It's just gonna roll and they're gonna see it. It's super transparent. It's got that ghost geranium. What is it called? Geranium?
Guaning?
Ghost, yeah.
Or something, right?
It's got that little oil slick stuff.
Ben would know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got that little oil slick on it.
It's a good color.
Yeah, it's a sick color, dude.
It's a good
I really
color.
like it. But, everybody's waters are going to be different.
Right.
Your bass might not even touch white. Luckily for us, Megabass has 8 billion,
Billion
colors
colors,
for you to
dude.
choose. And then you can go out there and experiment with when you're fishing slow and you think it needs to be slow. The jerkbait is a slow presentation.
Yeah, it can be.
And the 110 is what I consider a finesse jerkbait. We're not working it hard. It's not a pointer where you're just ripping it through the water and it's banging fish and just sitting there like it's super suspends. But this one is always moving. It's never just sitting still, but it's not making major movements.
Yeah, that's big too.
Right? So the 110, it's been doing good for us. And then the crankbait. Right?
This is the interesting part.
So crankbait, so last year, 2022, I made it a point to really learn how to fish a crankbait.
Okay.
Everyone's fished crankbait since they were little, but I've never really understood why the crankbait works, where to throw it, what situation to throw it in. So I spent a ton of time with the crankbait last year.
You did. You threw the crank a lot.
Yeah, and I think it was my most productive bait of the year. Like even more than the free rig, and I catch a ton of fish on the free rig, right? But as I was out the other day, I started with the Blitz Max DR.
Okay.
All right, so this one right here it's in the smaller ranges of the Blitz series, but it's the biggest one.
Yeah.
Right. So this is gonna be like 2 foot to 15 foot. It's gonna give you. It's not a ton of action on this thing. It's gonna move more than like a flat side or something that shimmies, but it's silent. All you hear is like hooks and stuff in there. There's a little bit of a weight transfer that you hear in there, but it's pretty silent and it's easy to work. It doesn't give a lot of resistance as you're reeling it in. You're just gonna reel it in. You're gonna feel slight vibration on there, and then when the fish hits it, they hit it.
So you're looking for a crankbait that's not too intrusive, that's making a big commotion or just a huge vibration, because you're fishing clear water and it's still winter, so you don't want anything that's too in their face, that's kind of off-putting.
Yeah, so
kind of like the 110 over the pointer, right?
Yeah, so that's going to be the key to everything I'm doing right now, is you want it to move to get their attention, but you don't want it to scare them.
Yeah.
Right, these fish are not looking to chase anything.
Yeah.
Even though it's 55 degrees and it's warm for a lot of places, it's still cold to them. Right? So they're just like little Griffs. Once it gets under 60, they don't want to move.
Dude.
They don't want to do any of that, right? So yeah, it's got the shake and the shimmy to it, but it's not really doing a ton down there. Even though this is an all-year crankbait.
Yeah.
In the wintertime, I think it's been shining really, really good for me. It's a bigger profile than a normal crankbait. Let's say we love the Z from Megabass.
Yeah.
It's really small. And those fish, again, they want to eat the biggest meal possible right now so they can just chill out.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
yeah, it's not giant though.
No.
Yeah. So I've been throwing this one, been catching a lot of fish on it. And again, color choice is going to be very relevant to where you are. In Arizona, we fish a lot of clear water, so the mats do really well for us.
Yeah.
The super clears, like a New Murray, Jinrin is
one of your favorites, right?
Yeah, Jinrin is a sick color.
Yeah.
It's crushing them on it. And I think everybody around the U.S. is having a good time with these because we can't keep these in stock.
That's true.
They sell out so fast. But, you know, we have some other colors that are available right now. Maybe try them out. Like right now, a red would probably be good where they're eating a lot of craws.
This time of year. Yeah.
Yeah, they're eating, those craws are getting cold. They're getting red. Or they're getting red or dark, like almost black.
Yeah.
And, you know, you can crank this real slow. It has this little ball down here that's going to balance it out. And it just gets bit.
Yeah.
The way that they're hitting it is not like a lethargic fish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's always just, you know, boom. Like, oh.
Yeah.
It's almost a surprise every single time. So it's pretty dope. Yeah. Blitz Max DR. And then...
This is seeming to be your new favorite.
Yeah. I've talked about this a couple times.
Yep.
So the Lucky Craft 2.5 has just been killing it.
Killing it, dude.
I've been catching so many fish on this. It's wintertime. The bass are supposed to be deep.
Yep.
They're supposed to be sitting on the bottom. I'm fishing in 2 to 3 feet of water, throwing a big crankbait. Like,
yeah, a 2.5 size.
This is a 2.5. It's bigger than Blitz.
Yeah.
And
that's a Blitz Max.
And it's a Blitz Max. It's bigger.
So.
And it's totally opposite of what I've just been saying.
Mm-hmm.
It makes a ton of commotion. This thing shakes and moves and it bangs on the rocks, and I don't know why. I can't explain it, but these fish are coming out and they are munching it.
Really?
Yeah. So I discovered this bite on accident.
On accident. Okay.
Yes. I went to pre-fish for a tournament.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the wall, the magical wall of Lucky Craft over there.
Yep.
And I went to grab this color. This is my favorite color from Lucky Craft, Gizzard Shad.
It's a good color.
Yeah. And the 1.5 is one of my favorite square bills. But I grabbed some of these instead.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was out fishing, I noticed they weren't eating the 1.5. So I tied this on thinking a color change would work, and I just started catching them. But then I noticed, oh, this is not even the right crankbait.
It's a completely different one.
It's a completely different crankbait. So, and then ever since then, this was maybe a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
I've been throwing it. It's getting eaten. Everywhere I've taken it, I've caught fish on it.
Yeah.
So, and again, you know, Lucky Craft has 8 billion colors over there.
Mm-hmm.
There's many to choose from. This one is a silent crankbait also.
Mm-hmm.
But they have like a DRS.
Yeah.
So there's one with a deep rattle if you need a little bit of sound. But I think the commotion that the bait makes is enough.
Yeah.
Because it shakes, like it just...
You feel it on the rod.
Yeah, it's vibrating the rod and it's going nuts. And when it deflects, like...
It boings.
Like, yeah. Boom, you could feel it in the rod. It's just boom,
so
boom,
sick.
boom. So yeah. So, you know, it's also going to be my favorite because I just caught a monster on it.
Yeah, you did.
So the biggest smallmouth I've ever caught in my life was just caught on this.
And that's a big plus.
Yeah, 55 degrees in the middle of winter, throwing a 2.5 square bill in 3 feet of water.
Insane.
It doesn't make sense, but we don't get to choose what the bass eat.
Yeah.
They're going to tell us.
go along with it. Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
do you think kind of what you said about the going to the full 110 instead of like your normal like junior? Do you think going from the 1.5 to 2.5 is very similar to that?
So I'm a very big believer in sizing up when it's cold.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that bigger meal, right?
Yeah, that bigger meal. If you're going to eat once or twice a day, you want to stay full for the whole day,
Mhm.
right? I think it's kind of like what you guys do, right?
Yeah, with the swim baits.
With
Yeah,
the swim
we
bait.
always just try and go bigger in the winter as well. And
Yeah.
normally it pays out because, yeah, like you said, the fish, they're going to spend a lot less energy chasing. So that one time that they do chase something down, they want it to be really worth their while. And, you know, when you go bigger, they're like, well, I'm going to put some energy into it. I'm really cold, but that's a big meal. And if I eat 1 or 2 of these things, I'm pretty much set for maybe like the week.
Yeah.
Or, so.
Yeah, I can imagine a fish just going and grabbing a big bait and just smiling down
Be
there.
like, yeah.
And
I
just,
don't-
just
chilling.
going somewhere to chill out
Yep.
and just relax for the rest of the day.
Yeah, so I feel like it's the same thing even in conventional fishing.
Yeah, it has to. there has to be some things that are super similar, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just, you know, your baits are giant,
Right.
and I'm just upsizing the size,
Right.
But same concept.
Yep.
The bigger baits, I feel like, are getting the most bites.
Mhm.
I will try to go regular, like a 110 junior +1 if I need to
Mhm.
get deeper with a smaller profile, but I'm just not getting bit on those things.
Interesting. Yeah.
So I learned years ago that if I just go to a 110, which is never tied on, then I will get more
Start
bites.
getting bites. Yeah.
And then right now, you know, I'm fishing a lot of places that have current and
Mhm.
super clear water. So the bill on those 110s, it gets me down there,
That's true.
right?
Yeah.
It gets me down, even though it's not going down to 12. If I can get it to 810, it's still more than a regular 110, which is getting me 5.
Right. Yeah.
Right? So that's working out for me. The blitzes, as I was fishing the other day, I would put my kayak in 10 feet of water, and I would crank it in through the column from the bank. I would cast as close to the bank as possible, and I would bring it in, and they were biting pretty close to the kayak.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm assuming around that 8-10 foot range. I wasn't maximizing the depth on it, but again, in current, you kind of need to make adjustments like that.
It is
too.
quite impressive that those Blitz Max DRs, dude, they come through cover really well.
Oh, dude.
When you say, like, why is he throwing a medium diving crankbait in a foot of water? Like, aren't you going to snag? And it's like, no, those things come through that shallow cover really well. And I feel like, you know, to help figure out where the fish are, to be able to go through the water column, like you said, to be like, oh, okay, they're biting it closer to my kayak, which means they're most likely in 8 to 10 feet. Then I can start picking apart that area.
Yeah.
You know, a
yeah,
lot better.
definitely, dude. And it's one of the best crankbaits out there to come through cover.
Yes. I think it's that honeycomb design that they have too. It's really good.
It's pretty dope. Like, even through trees, when you throw it through
Oh,
trees.
yeah, that's true.
Like, we're fishing at Rosie. Like, a couple months ago, I was out there at Rosie smashing them on the blitz.
Yeah.
And I was throwing it through the trees, and it's deflecting, and it's just coming right through.
It's
Or even
really
if
good.
Even if you get caught, you just give a little slack, and then you can see your line move. You're
Yeah.
like, oh, it's free.
Oh, it came out.
Boom.
Yeah. It's super easy.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's super sick. It's a dope crankbait. It's definitely on the top of my list for medium diving crankbaits. And then obviously the 2.5 is going to be in my box from now on.
Yeah.
Right?
User Chad color just sold out.
Yeah. Yeah, right. But
They make a lot of good
there's
colors
so
though.
many different color options that you can get. There's definitely going to be a color for wherever you're fishing.
That bluegill one's sick.
Yeah.
That's really dope actually.
A pumpkin seed.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the cool craw colors, they're all there. So
Yeah.
whatever color your fish are keyed into, dark water, clear water, there's a color.
There's options for it.
There's a color for you.
Yeah.
It's just a cool bait. Go give it a try. And luckily for us, Lucky Craft is not in that higher price range.
Right,
So if you get
yeah.
a try and it's not like smashing them for you.
Yeah,
you
that's
did-
true.
You didn't buy a 110.
right.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's just super fun.
Yeah.
So let's talk about gear, right?
Yeah.
So on my crankbait, I'm running a Valkyrie 7.1 medium heavy.
I feel like this is our favorite rod.
So
For
yeah,
this
from
type.
shallow to mid depth,
It's
there's
so
not a
good.
better rod.
No.
Right. So the Valkyrie has this hybrid graphite glass
Mhm.
that for every rod they change the mix to get it to have the action that you want.
Yeah.
Right. It's got a super sick action. Like, it's super parabolic,
Mhm.
but has a ton of backbone.
Yeah.
Like,
It's a strong rod.
Yeah, I throw all the way up to deep 6 on this thing.
Yeah.
You guys
it
think I'm
handles it.
crazy, but it's a short rod, and I think I can handle that deep 6 really well.
Mhm.
You can tell this one's been used quite a bit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my hooks are all bent out. I've caught a lot of fish on it. My bill's all worn out, so it's time to replace her. The reel that I'm using is the Shimano Tranx 150.
Oh, okay.
All right. I love this for a crankbait.
Oh, okay. What gear ratio is that
So
one?
I'm running the 7.2.
Okay.
7.2 to 1. I'm never gonna slow down when I'm cranking.
Hmm.
I'm gonna move it at the same pace all year.
Yep.
If I'm not getting bit, I'll just put it down.
Yeah.
Right.
That easy.
So on this setup, I'm running a 10-pound.
Yeah, okay.
A 10-pound sniper. I feel like this reel though is not the reel for your smaller things.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it really wants to throw heavy. It's Tranx traditional.
Hmm.
It wants to throw super heavy stuff.
So like 3/8 would be like the lowest you'd go on it?
Yeah, so 3/8 half ounce, like it throws it great. But
Okay.
It struggles to throw in that 1/4 ounce range, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So when I'm throwing like a Z, I'm using a different
Got
reel.
it. Okay.
If I know I'm gonna spend the day with the Z, I'm switching my reel out.
But the 2.5 is perfect on
Yeah,
it.
2.5 runs good. It's like 5/8 of an ounce.
Oh, okay. Yeah, must throw it really good.
Yeah, it casts amazing. I run a light line so I can just maximize depth when I need to, and that's the combo that I'm using for my crankbaits.
It's a good setup.
Yeah, I really like it. I was surprised about the Tranx.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, traditionally, Daiwa was
We're
my
Daiwa
deal,
guys,
right?
yeah.
Daiwa was my deal.
Yep.
But when it came out, I was like, what do you use a 150 for?
That's true.
We're so used to 300, 400 Tranxes.
Yeah.
And that makes sense.
Yep. But then they went down to this 150.
But a 150, and I was like, let me try it, and boom, I've been stuck on it ever
Yeah.
since. Yeah. And for my jerkbait,
Boosh.
obviously, I'm going
Boosh
with a
down,
110
baby.
stick, right?
Oh, such a good stick.
Yeah, dude,
It's so money. We've
it's
talked about it for so long, and it still just gets so much good praise.
Yeah, it's amazing. So this one right here, it's short at 6'5".
Yeah.
But it's got the right parabolic bend to it,
Mhm.
and it has a backbone that it's so
Unmatched.
it's deceiving when you look at the rod
Mhm.
because this looks like an ultralight.
Yeah.
But dude, this is a strong rod.
It's a strong rod at 6'5".
Yeah, at 6'5", it's beautiful. It works the jerkbait so easy. You can stand on the deck of anything, the
And
bank,
work it.
and work the bait.
Yeah, because of that 6'5".
Yeah, it's amazing. I just can't say enough about it. I am using the Silver Wolf.
Okay.
So this
The
brand new
new.
reel.
Yeah.
Brand new reel to all of us. I wanted to try it out. I have the factory spool that comes with it.
Oh, okay.
The Boost PE.
So the
spool that's on
shallower
there.
spool. Okay.
Yeah, and on that I'm running a 13-pound D braid.
Oh, braid.
I run
Okay.
a 13-pound D braid. I want to go with the smallest diameter to try to use get as much line as I could
Yeah.
on there, right?
Mhm.
But I didn't even use a whole spool
Okay.
of that, and those are short spools. Those
Okay.
D braid spools are short.
Yeah, yeah.
So I didn't even use the whole thing. It's a very shallow spool, but it's definitely plenty of line.
Mhm.
And then on that I have a 7-pound
Ooh,
sniper leader.
7 pound.
7
okay.
pound. Yes,
That's light.
it's light. I really like this combo right here. This reel right here.
Yeah.
It's sick,
Oh yeah.
dude.
Dude.
Dude, it's crazy. So, besides the Steez Limited,
Mhm.
I don't think there's another reel that casts as well as this one.
That's insane.
Yeah. And that's just with this spool. If I put the other spool in
Oh,
there
dude, yeah.
and I throw a 3/8 half ounce bait,
It's over.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're spooling every time.
Yep.
You're taking an hour just to get the bait back to you.
Yeah.
It's sick. But yeah, I wanted to go test it out, and now I'm in love. So I'm glad I got my hands on one of these.
Okay.
Only issue though is the gear ratio is at 8.5. If you don't like an 8.5,
That is a bit fast, right?
it's a bit fast, but it works for what you're doing with it.
Yeah.
Right? That shorter spool kind of makes the adjustment for you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it works great. I didn't have any issues. I didn't feel like I was moving too fast. But again, with the jerkbait, it's just like it's slow working anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
You're gonna be able to see me on a video fishing it. I'm literally fishing it with one hand.
Yep.
Just one hand. Easy to handle. This rod right here, like
It's so light, dude.
this has to weigh less than, I don't know, 5 ounces.
Dude,
Total?
it's so light.
Yeah,
It's ridiculous.
it's crazy. But that's what I'm using right now.
Do you normally fish your jerkbaits on braid to leader though?
I always fish my jerkbaits braid leader because all my jerkbait rods are topwater rods.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, the jerkbait action is the best action for walking or working a
That's
topwater.
true. Yeah.
So, even though every year I get a new jerkbait rod,
yeah, it seems like it.
and even though I have so many, I set them all up the same. Because
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm not going to take them all with me.
right.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm so limited on what I bring. Like, sometimes I just bring one rod. And
That's
I want,
true,
I want a
yeah.
rod that can do
A
a lot
lot.
of things.
Yeah.
So, that's what I use my jerkbait rods for. So, it's braid to leader for me all the time. There's some guys in the shop that will tell me that I'm stupid because all they're throwing is a jerkbait. If that's all I was throwing on it, then I would obviously just put fluoro on
Got it.
because
Yeah.
it makes the most sense.
Right. Yeah.
Right? But that's a debate that we're going to have till the end of time.
Yeah. Seriously.
Yeah. But one day I'll teach Ben how to catch fish.
He needs it.
Yeah. He'll learn. He's going to learn today. Well, that's it, guys. That's my breakdown I hope you guys go out and try some of these things. I know some of you guys are iced in right now, but
Yeah.
as that ice starts to melt and you're thinking about moving slow, try something a little bit different. All right. Who knows? You might get into some good fish. It might not, but you know, you always have your other stuff.
Yeah, your drop
Right.
shots, Ned rigs.
Yeah, your sleeping pills.
Your sleeping pills.
You have all that stuff with you. But whatever you got to do to catch the fish, that's what you're gonna go do.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
But this is just a way more fun way to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's sick.
Yeah, crankbaits.
Yeah. Burning
jerkbaits,
crankbaits
like in the winter.
for giant smallmouth.
Yeah, who doesn't want to do that?
Yeah, it's so sick. I really appreciate you guys watching. On behalf of the hookup, on Ben, Jeff, everybody here, thank you so much, and I hope you go out there and get them. Don't forget to try something new. All right, guys. Always have fun.